This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Well, Mike Whitlow, the COO, and Nick Tulloch, the chairman of ECR, are joining us today. Thank you both for your time. How are you doing? How are you both?
Oh, good, thanks, Mark. How are you?
Yes, very good. Thank you, Nick. Very good. Nice to see you both joining us again. So we're going to catch up on some of the recent news from the company here. That's mainly the antimony testing, the antimony result that came from Bailieston there. So you tested 44 samples from Bailieston. You retested them for antimony. And I think quoting from the COO's statement there, you identified a highly promising opportunity that warrants further follow-up. The finding is truly remarkable. So that's obviously from Mike there. But Mike, Nick, what do you think of this discovery?
I think I'll probably think what Mike thinks. We're absolutely delighted. It's something we flagged a little while back that we were going to do. The results have come back, I would say, top end of expectations, and it gives us a new scope on Bailieston, which we'll be pursuing in the as part of the next stream of works.
And
I think it's
antimony
worth
then.
just jumping in. Sorry, mate. Bailieston was a pretty big disappointment to shareholders once upon a time. We spent a lot of money up there, and we just didn't do the multi-element testing. Myself, Nick, and the rest of the wider technical team believed it was worth a go, and those results that we've yielded have been incredible. And they are extraordinary, actually. Okay, there's an argument that it's only over a small area. There's an argument that it needs some follow-up. But if you look at Costerfield or Nagambi and the grades that they're actually producing at, this is way above that. So it's certainly a great little pathfinder and starting point to hopefully turn around, some of the sentiment towards Bailieston.
And what's so sexy about antimony then? I mean, you say there in the news the 2024 price is hitting $18,000 US per ton. But what's its use? What's its market? How's that looking?
Hardening alloys, munitions, there's a whole bunch of different things that can be used in fire retardant equipment. Okay. So there's a whole bunch of uses. I think the main driving point for antimony right now is the bulk of it is produced in Tajikistan, Russia, China, and I believe the Congo. And of course, these countries are, in a slightly volatile state at the moment, and the West are looking for new providers and suppliers of antimony.
Okay, and in terms of the commodity's price performance, is it looking like it's improving or have recently improved?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's at a 10-year high. I may well be wrong. Maybe just made a bold statement, but it's certainly in demand. The West are now sort of looking to find safe sources of antimony. There's been a lot of inquiry with our peers around Victoria, and it made perfect sense for us to go out there and do some further investigation. It's yielded an incredible, extraordinary result, and we hope that sort of pegs us on the map for perhaps a partnership, etc. We're not going to go and blow the budget on this. We're not going to do anything crazy. We're going to keep doing what we've continued to do since Nick and I joined the company, and that's apply a sensible approach, and we think this is a great starting point.
Well, it's interesting what you say about sort of shedding different light on Bailieston or Bailieston there, and of course the nearby Costerfield mine producing a fair bit of antimony as well last year. But in terms of the actual grade you're getting here, that 0.3 metres at 32%, 0.1 at 1.2, I mean, you're saying they're exceptional. Perhaps people won't be familiar with antimony grades, but I mean, are they really that exceptional?
Well, I think that the highest grade in that area has been about 40%, 44%. Okay. And they're, producing and operating antimony with grades below 5% or around that level. So, yeah, I mean, it's exceptional. And I think if people were to do a bit of due diligence and have a look at the kind of grades that people are able to produce antimony at, they would see that this is quite something.
Okay, good. So you're both, you're happy with this then? Do you almost feel it's a new look at the project?
But that was always the plan. I mean, we came in, some sort of 9 or 10 months back, and the idea was to review all of the projects that the company has. We've always said it's an interesting portfolio, quite an extensive portfolio of projects for a company of this size. New pair of eyes, new ideas to look through what we've got. And I think last week's announcement was just a classic example of that. Just going back over old ground and re-examining it for new opportunities. And here we are.
Here you are indeed. Well, just a final thought. I think, Mike, you said it in your comments and you mentioned it earlier that in the near term, your primary focus is on identifying a suitable strategic partner to collaborate and fund exploration to maximise what has the potential to become an exciting multi-commodity asset at Bailieston. So what are you doing? How are you actually going to actively pursue a strategic partner here? Or do you need to do further work to attract that attention?
No, I think the grade speaks for itself. We'll go away, we'll do a little bit of modelling and we'll look at it. I mean, it's still very early days. We just got those results. We put a couple of announcements out. One in particular was the announcement on the, tax credits and accumulated tax losses, rather. We think it's going unnoticed. Perhaps hasn't been given the credit it deserves. Perhaps Nick will jump in and give us a bit of a rundown on that announcement. But, for now, we'll stand by our beds with the antimony. We've only just got those results, so we'll decide on how best to advance with that. And the accumulated tax losses is an announcement that seems to have fallen down the side of the couch.
Well, I do want to ask you about that, Nick. Yes, because those accumulated tax losses, I mean, they've been around for a while, haven't they? I mean, going back to when I first got into the space and had interest in ECR, probably over 10 years ago they were there. Are you actually going to manage to do something with them, do you think?
Well, we certainly hope so. And you're right, they have been around for a while. I mean, the tax losses, or some of the tax losses date back to 2007 or the financial year of 2007 and have accumulated, obviously, over that period. But what the company has not done until we've got involved very recently is to actually start analysing how those tax losses can be realised, how they can be transferred to other companies who can then use the tax losses themselves, what the value might be, what the process might be for that transfer, and obviously who the likely buyers could be. Tax losses are sold all around the world. There is a market for companies with taxable profits looking to reduce those profits by acquiring legally tax losses. And Australia's got a similar concept. It's a very specialised market, and naturally any government is going to be quite cautious as to how it allows tax losses to be utilised by a purchasing company. But we've taken quite a lot of advice. We've done a little bit of structuring ourselves to work out the best way to get those tax losses into the hands of the buyers. Next task, find those buyers and start trying to generate value. But you can see from the quantum of tax losses that there is a very material asset that sits within the company in relation to those tax losses if we can find a buyer that can utilise them properly.
Okay. Well, thank you both very much for your time, Nick Tulloch and Mike Whitlow from ECR Minerals.
Thanks, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programmes at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.